Good morning and welcome to our broadcast for today. My name is Mubita Nawa. I'm a life coach, I'm a motivational speaker, and I'm a friend of those people who seek greatness above all else. William Shakespeare, the great poet, once wrote, "This above all else to thine own self be true." I guess one of the greatest things we can all recognize is that at some point in our lives, we shall all fail. At some point in our lives, we shall be embarrassed because we have not delivered what we said we would. We have not kept our words. And there are even moments when you still keep your words, when you still do what you said you would, but sometimes the inevitability of failure still finds itself around you. It doesn't matter. I think even just humanly speaking, Alexander Pope said to err is human, to forgive is divine. So humanly speaking, you will err. You will fail. Failure is part of the path of life. How do you handle failure, therefore, when it comes your way in life and in business? If we could follow the SARA acronym, which stands for shock, awareness, realization, and acceptance, we could therefore say one of the greatest ways to handle failure is to not deny the shock of failure. A young friend of mine, whilst in secondary school, accidentally or unbeknownst fell pregnant. And when they fell pregnant, the first thing they said was, "I can't believe I am pregnant." Okay? We'll give them a benefit of a doubt. They were disappointed. They disappointed their parents. And at that point, the first thought that came to their head is, "I am going to commit suicide." They wanted to commit suicide so that they could not only terminate the failure as well as terminate their own inability to handle or justify or even explain what it is that had transpired to them. In my young novice conversation, perhaps at that point I didn't even know I was a motivational speaker, but I only saw myself as a young Barnabas, a person that desired to encourage other people. I said to them, "I don't think this is the end of the road. You are only 15 years old. Why would you give up your entire life based on the mistake of falling pregnant when you didn't think you would get pregnant?" So I began to counsel them and shared with them, dealt with the shock of realizing that they had erred, that they were human enough to err. You see, if we are going to deal with failure, we have to accept the fact that we are human. The fact that, in the words of Alexander Pope, our humanity has certain consequences, including the malfunctioning of choices, the misplacement of priorities, the arrogance of our attitude, the dispensation of a different level of spirit that may not be acceptable in the social, economic, even including professional settings of our lives. You have to accept that I erred. Through many days of agony and tyrannic conversations with my friend, they eventually got convinced that they would keep the child. They left school for a year, went and delivered. A year later, they came back into school. As I speak to you now, it's been many, many, many years. My friend is well, their child is well, doing absolutely well, and my friend couldn't be any prouder. You cannot deal with failure if you deny its existence. Whether it's an accident, you ram into somebody's car and you didn't know, you misjudged, or you got distracted on the phone, accept that you made a mistake. In that mistake, there will be a lesson. For every cloud, there is a silver lining. Yes, not all that glitters is gold, but sometimes it is foil. It doesn't matter. Every failure comes with treasure troves and lessons that we can take. Therefore, the next step is accept what has happened. I didn't think I would fail this exam, but I've accepted. Many years ago, I was doing a paper in my postgraduate diploma studies, and there was one particular paper. It was actually my very last paper. It only became my last paper because I sat for 4 papers, but this one I didn't make it. And all along I did 4, 4, 4. I was clearing, but this one, I never made it. And I had to sit for this paper the second time. And I had so much confidence that I would make it yet again. And unfortunately, I never made it the second time. And somebody said to me, how long are you going to sit for the same paper? I said to them, for as long as it takes. I accepted that I did not make it the first time. I accepted that I did not make it the second time. You know, sometimes success is just that ability to keep going no matter the discouragement, to keep pushing no matter the resistance, to accept that you are even in a struggle, you are even in a difficult situation is part of the beginning of success. Oh, lo and behold, on my 4th attempt, that paper had to accept reality. Failure eventually accepts the reality that success is inevitable in your life. Oprah Winfrey says, if you knock on a door 1,000 times, keep knocking. Somebody will hear your knock. The Bembas in Zambia say, Mupamapamo atulile. There's something about a persistent person that we transform our reality through persistence. When you show up every day, even as a man, if you keep proposing love or marriage or whatever it is, affection or affirmation to a woman, you keep doing it every single day, no matter how ugly you are, brother, that woman is eventually gonna find it sexy for an ugly dude or brother to keep knocking like you do. So I came today to say to you that one of the ways we transform our reality is through persistence. And not only persistence, but persistence with excellence. That even in your failure, have an excellent attitude. Even in your challenges, have an excellent commitment and dedication. Even though there are no jobs out there, make sure that your first job is looking for a job. How do we deal with failure? We must adapt. You thought by this age you need to be doing this. Reality is not yet in conformity with what you thought. Adapt. They promised you this, they haven't done it. Adapt. In fact, when you have this kind of attitude, there is no disappointment in your life. Every single day becomes a day of an appointment with greatness. So, how do we handle failure? You accept that you have failed. Don't deny failure. If you have no money, accept that I'm broke. But don't say I'm broke. Say I'm temporarily financially challenged whilst I await my breakthrough. That way you stay positive even in your failure. When you've been rejected, accept it. But don't let it be your final call. Then you adjust. Then you change your reality through a positive attitude and a continuous application of yourself. And eventually adaptation comes. When we adapt, when we adjust our small size trousers and take it to the tailor for the tailor to enlarge it, or in some cases when you lose weight, to make it smaller, we are preparing for the next level of success. I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in your life when you have to come down before God takes you up. There are moments when you have to take a detour before you can find the right path in your life. So if your life feels like a failure, don't look at it like a failure. Look at it as a lesson planned by God. Look at it as a tutorial. Look at it as a counseling session by God through the corridors of life to prepare you for the great awakenings. You see, the thing is, life is like pregnancy. You can hide it only for a few weeks. But eventually, that which is in you will manifest. And some of you are busy calling yourself failures. You are not. You are just temporarily in remission. You are just temporarily in hiding. You are just temporarily in a tutorage. You are on sabbatical, on intellectual sabbatical, as God prepares you in the prayers of Jabez, all that you will enlarge my territory. Bless me indeed and enlarge my territory. So failure is a wonderful birthplace for success. Failure is a wonderful tutor of character development and patience giving. Failure is an honorary salutation by life saying to you, we just wanted to taste whether you are ready for success. I'll leave you with a story. Many years ago, I was a young student at Mumbo Duo Secondary School. It was a variety show on a Friday. And houses were competing. I was in a house called Luapula. Our houses were named by rivers. There was Luapula, there was Zambezi, there was Kafue, and there was Luangwa. Our houses were called according to rivers. So I was in Luapula group, and I was particularly in the sports category. I had found me a bicycle from a certain Indian young boy by the name of Pando. I had found me some outfits of cycling because I love cycling. I had me some skin-tight cycling, and I had a cycling shirt, had some shades on, some gloves. I think it was half a glove. And so I was to ride through the circle of the center of the stage with hundreds and hundreds of students on a variety show night, everybody competing. And as they announced my name, Mubita Nawa, I was this little skinny boy with a messed up dental formula and slightly oversized head. And the girls, I could hear the girls cheer, Nawa, my man, Nawa, my dude, oh, Nawa, be mine for life. I'm just exaggerating a little bit. I don't think they said all that. And I began to ride my bicycle. My heart was pounding at 86 pounces per minute. My blood was profusely going through the aorta and the ventricular. I was just in my zone and my element. And as the Bible says that pride comes before a fall, I became a little bit overconfident. I became a little bit overzealous. That's why failure is good in life, because it makes us check our weight, literally and metaphorically. Failure causes us to say to ourselves, was my attitude right? And so the front tire slid and I fell on the floor of a variety show. Now, maybe some of you don't know what a variety show is. You were day scholars. But even day schools have variety show. But it's just a show for variety. It's like the Olympics of all activity in a secondary school. And so I was competing in the javelin of cycling. As the bicycle slid, I could feel my potential suitor and girlfriend saying, oh, my man is going down. And so I slid and fell, and what started as cheers began to turn into jeers, and I could suddenly hear the mounting volume ascension into mockery. I could hear them begin to mock, especially those from Zambezi and Luangwa and Kafue. In that split second, I went through the Sarah process. I got over the shock. I accepted what happened. I knew I had influence over my reality and I had to adapt. Ladies and gentlemen, I quickly turned my bicycle upside down. Minutes later, earlier, I was the one on top of the bicycle. But minutes later, with an interlude of sliding, I was now the one being ridden by the bicycle. And so I began to ride my bicycle upside down. And to this day, I hold the record as the only Mumbo Duo Secondary School student to ever ride a bicycle upside down. And what was turning into jeers began to turn into claps and whistles. I could even hear the senior girls saying, that's my man right there. That's my dude. That's my future husband right there. And so I rode the bicycle upside down. In other words, I turned my failure into success. When I was 12 years old, I wrote behind my book my own saying. It was a simple novice saying, but it said, when you drop a pen, pick up a pencil. When you drop a pen, make sure you pick up a pencil. I dropped and fell on a bike, but I didn't let that bike conquer me. I conquered it instead, and I rode it upside down. May God bless you. Ride your bike upside down. Turn your divorce into a beautiful situation. Turn your unemployment into the beautiful recreation and creative geniuses. Anything negative into positivity. Remember mathematics, a negative multiplied by a negative becomes a positive. It's your friend and brother. Remember to share this broadcast and tag a friend. You never know who you might encourage today. I'll talk to you soon. I'm out.